There is a thin divide between what is perceived as spiritual and paranormal, for they are forever entwined throughout time. Traveling within the history of the world, we can find examples of spirituality that involves everything from magic, spirits, gods and goddesses, and seers or people said to be able to talk to the dead. We all have our belief systems and we all have our own truths. So come sit with Holly Jenkins and myself as we talk about all that and more. Welcome to Spiritually Paranormal.
I was going to say what a day, but what a freaking week.
Yeah, it's only Wednesday. We're in the middle of the week then.
I know. It's crazy. It's insane.
Well, you said you've been having some stuff to shift and...
Let's just call them glitches.
Well, like you said, that's why I asked you. Retrograde is still here till Friday. So
now
yeah.
listen. Friday, Mercury goes direct, and we have a new moon. That's a double whammy of some good stuff coming to us and setting us free to really, truly move forward.
Well, I will tell you, I don't know if you saw what happened in my house over the past weekend. I don't know if I left.
Yeah, you had some cabinets opening, which would drive me nuts because
there you
I
go.
can't stand a cabinet door to be open.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was absolutely 100%, had them shut. And I apologize. These are from dishes from the night before, that night before, because I had Lindsay, a daughter from another mother over here. She grew up with Tay, and she just came back to Michigan from Massachusetts. She finished her bachelor's in political science, and she's on a way to rocket to the world, and I'm so happy for her. So I got up in the morning, and I did work with her, okay, the night before, and I took her out and I smudged. And when I smudged, I mean, it was a big, huge poof. And we walked back into the house, and I don't remember anything for a couple hours. It was like we were high, I guess would be a way to put it, but it was the energy from the smudge, which it can put you into that state. So we did a lot of things and a lot of releasing. And I think stuff that was attached with her and stuff that was probably in the creaky cracks of my house all got booted. So, but it also opened. So everything was able to come in. That's my only, people were asking me, oh, did you take Ambien? I don't take that stuff. I don't take anything. I take one little pill at night, and it's amitriptyline for my nerve pain. That's it. And I've been on it for 3 years. So yeah, I don't know why, but I will tell you, yesterday I kept seeing shadows running through the house, and I mean with my frontal eyes. And I was like, you know what? And then of course I had some stuff today, and I kept hearing the wolf. And I mean, it was like so obvious it was her, because it was knocking stuff that was hers or knocking. And it's like, okay. So I managed to go, which is so funny because Lindsay she's
doing things to make sure that you can't just excuse them away.
Right. And I didn't, but I wasn't energy-wise ready to do what she wanted me to do, but that wasn't stopping. So I wound up getting into my closet. I have 2 in my room. They're big. And I got into the closet because she wanted me to find something. I needed to find a shell. And I said, I don't have any more shells because I used to sell them and I had them wrapped up, right? Oh, no, you got to get in that closet. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Well, I did. Found 2 shells that were still wrapped. So Lindsay will have one when she comes back. And then I found this, which I haven't been able to get into since I bought the dang thing. I got it for let's see which way. There you go. Nope, other way. It's a raven, right?
Yep.
It was $1, and I bought it, and I knew it wasn't going to fit, but I bought it, and so I found this, so I was all excited because it fit. and I'm looking for my bag of green amethyst tumbles that I have. And I have a big bag of them because I wanted to refill my rock box, I call it, up in the front room. And I can't find them. And I know they're in my room somewhere. I just have to put, and you just don't want to pull a bunch of stuff. Right. It's like an all day thing. So, yeah, so that happened. And that was interesting. And I want to tell everybody, because they are here, I am so proud of this young woman, just like I'm proud of my own daughter. It is amazing. She came back from Boston, Mass, back to Michigan for herself. And she took the month of August off. And she started right around Labor Day putting out resumes all over Michigan, downstate by my daughter and David, and up here. And she's like, I haven't heard anything. I go, it takes 6 to 8 weeks. You just got through with.
Plus, we're in retrograde.
Yep. Labor Day and holiday, kids going back to school, and then they have to play catch up when you're working. I said, you'll just give it a bit. She was here on Monday night. I fixed her dinner, and she got a phone call at 8:30. She goes, who the heck is this? I go, answer it. Answer it. Don't let it go to voicemail. It was the head of the Democratic Party in Michigan, got her resume, wanted to immediately the next day interview her. She went the next day. He is having her replace him in December. He's retiring. They're going to mentor her, and she's going to take over the chair of Iosco County.
That's awesome.
It's just, and she's like, oh my God. So all this good stuff's coming in. I said, see, it pays to smudge,
Yeah. Get rid of the gunk.
Yeah. Okay, so who's here? Who's here today? We have, Vic's here. Hi, Vic. How are you?
Oh, that is crazy. She's talking about the butterfly. I just finished recording a video about the butterfly. Just got it on TikTok before going live, and I'll be putting it after the live is done. It'll be on Facebook. Just everything happens for a reason.
Well, I'm telling you, the butterfly's been coming in since Sin brought it in that date, and I got a hold of her daughter, and it's like boom, boom, boom. Now all I'm seeing is butterflies everywhere. So thank you for that. More butterflies.
Yep. It's a whole video full of butterflies.
Cindy Pinkham's here. Jessica, hey, how are you? Beth
Where's
is
Ruth?
here. Ruth was here yesterday. She said she was going to be here. I don't know.
Chloe,
hi, Chloe. Thanks for that sticker. Oh, yeah, you guys, if you are watching this, make sure this Friday, over with Sean and Bex, I told them to put it up for the gift this week, and it's a half-hour reading with me and or one of my decks. So make sure you guys get over and watch Sean and Bex about that, because that's going to be pulled on Friday.
Awesome.
So, hi, MJ. How are you? Okay, so I don't even know if you know this because it just happened on the news. They had a big announcement from Mexico, believe it or not, this year, just today. And apparently they had all this information and they had to get it approved by the government to release it because some people didn't want to release it. Da, 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 da. Guess what it is?
What? Oh, yeah, I saw that. I saw you posted that.
Yep. Alien mummy.
My first thought was it definitely looks like E.T.
Alien mummy. It is really well preserved. And I actually looked it up because I thought, this has got to be a hoax. And you can see it's really well preserved. They're very small. It's very small. And a journalist and a researcher went through and presented the remains of a non-human being to lawmakers in Mexico on Tuesday during the country's first public congressional hearing on the topic. They brought 2 boxes in, and he said were the small stuffed bodies of ETs recovered in Peru, which made sense to me, in 2017. Carbon 14 dating which was done by University of Mexico, the autonomous. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a DNA type thing. They determined the remains were 700 years old and 1,800 years old.
Good Lord.
Each of the figures only has 3 fingers on each hand, and each have elongated heads, resembling at least, how entertainment world made them with the bigger brains in the back. It's the first time that ET life is presented in such a form.
ET only had 3 fingers.
Well, there you go. And I think there's a clean
and a thumb.
Yeah, they're
like,
dealing with a non-human species that is not related to humans. So they're like really super excited about this, and I'm sure we're going to be hearing more and more about it as we go through time. But what struck me, and that was like on a legit, that was like, I think it was ABC News that was on. So that was where I got all the information. So it's like legit. It'll probably wind up on like the National Enquirer, that kind of stuff. But this is actual scientific.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, Ruth's back. Oh, shut the door behind you. No, just kidding. But yeah, so, when you look back, I don't even remember who I was talking about this with the other day, about the cave dwellings and, history, like culturally, the Incas, the Aztecs. You can go up in Alaska where, the Eskimos were, and then they have other tribes that are up there. And North America is like a big, huge thing for this. And I always laugh because I think, really? Do we really think we're the only intelligent life?
It's a ridiculous thought, isn't it?
And my guess
especially when you look at the intelligence here, it would be difficult to get beyond that.
If you look at it that way, I was like, yeah, we're probably at the bottom of the line because
exactly.
Yeah,
we are peons that don't know jack.
Well, I watched this past weekend, and again, Lindsay's home, so it's nice to have her home, and she's actually born 2 days, not same year obviously, but 2 days before my birthday, so we get along really well and we think the same way. So we were watching, yeah, I know, look out, right? We were watching Expedition X, which is a Josh Gates spinoff, and I wanted her to see the one about Catalina, California, and because it's an island off of California. I wouldn't want to live there because expensive, and you don't have the only way you can get off is by plane or boat, and it's like, Plus, get this, back in the 40s and 50s, they used it for making Westerns, movies. So they brought a bunch of buffalo in for this one movie. They flew them in, and they've multiplied, and they're all over this island.
Did you see the buffalo I got pictures of over the weekend on Sunday?
Oh, no, I haven't. I haven't been on.
Well, me, Robert, and the boys went to the Bison and Elk Prairie.
Oh, great. That's good. No.
All we saw was turkeys.
Oh, okay.
The bison, I've been there 3 other times. Twice I've seen the bison. Well, all the other 3 times I saw them, the last time I went, they were really far off and I could just zoom in with my camera and see them was the only way to see them. This time you couldn't zoom anywhere. I mean, they must have been over the hills and into some of the other parts of the prairie because they were nowhere to be seen.
Pretty massive. We
also went midday, where is the hottest part of the day, so they were probably hiding in some shade.
Well, we've got
a turkey bison.
A former state policeman. I'm sure he's retired now. That's why I'm saying former, because it's been about 20 years. He has bison up here. He bought a farm and specifically made it for bison.
There's a few bison farms here as well, here in Tennessee.
They're huge,
massive. Usually, like the first 2 times I went, I went real early in the morning, which makes sense. I know now not to go unless I'm going early. But I mean, they're larger than your car. They're massive.
Oh, they're like a semi.
Yeah.
And if they come running, if you've ever seen videos of them out when people are stupid out in the
Yellowstone
mountains in Yellowstone, they've flipped cars. They've gored people because they all want to pet the buffalo.
They're so stupid. Like, why? Why would you go up to such a massive creature? They're wild animals. Leave them alone. Like I said, there's no intelligent life down here. None. Aliens, they're the ones, they lock their doors when they drive past Earth.
All the things that are happening.
No, Jenna, we're not doing cards today.
No, we had okay, we were talking about, see now it's, white animals, right? Where the buffalo, obviously within the Native American culture, is a real big deal. It's a northern ancestor, and it's goes with a legend of how the original pipe carrier was for medicine to heal. And so what's kind of standing out to me this week, I've seen white owl show up various places, online, on TV, here out in the lake. We have snowy owls, and they're already starting to move around, which means fall, winter's not far behind, even though we're not into fall yet. And then in Michigan, there's been 3 white deer, one up here, one downstate, like where Taylor lives. It's Metro Detroit, full of cars and everything, came wandering into some woman's front yard. And they've been seeing more and more white deer and all these white animals all of a sudden. And for me, that's very spiritual, because that's what they represent. And I hope that people aren't stupid enough to try to shoot them during season.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Shortly coming up. But I had somebody get a hold of me the other day that saw a white goose, not like a Pekin white, not a domesticated duck, but it was a white goose. And she took a picture. I said, I don't know what kind of goose it is. It's not a swan. It's white. And so I kind of think that we've been in so much crud. I think that they're kind of letting certain people see this stuff to remind them of their spiritual, that we are in a spiritual war, but we're not on our own.
We are going through a cleanse, a massive cleanse. And I've talked for years about this vision that I've been given, where we break people into 2 different sets of people. The people that have good intentions, they care about people, they care about the earth, they care about the animals, and they do their best. They try not to go through life causing harm to anything or anyone else, right? But they have struggled their whole life to move forward. Those people, no matter how well they do, it's just really hard, like you're stuck in a tar pit to move forward. While these people over here don't care about anybody or anything. They hurt the earth. They hurt people. They don't care. They just want money and greed. And they move forward with such ease. Like, they're just free to go and collect as much crap as they want to collect and hurt everything and just leave a debris trail behind them. Well, those roles are reversing completely. Oh my gosh, goosebumps. Total goosebumps. Whereas the greedy ones are having things taken away from them little by little by little. And they don't have the coping skills that we do.
Yep.
They won't be able to handle it. They've always had things kind of just fall in their lap, given to them. Some of them may have been working hard, but things come to them easily.
Yeah, not for the right reasons.
And right, exactly. Not for the right reasons. Not saying that they're all lazy. Some of them work hard, but they don't care about what they're doing. It's all about the greed. And so the people that have been stuck in that tar pit are going to be set free. And oh my gosh, every hair is on end right now. And we're going to be moving so much forward. It's like definitely a shift in realities.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Where the people that were not in the tar pit are suddenly going to be in the tar pit. Stuck and able to move forward.
Oh, where'd you go?
Stuck and unable to move forward, while the people that were in the tar pit are suddenly set free. And there's one reality, and here's a whole nother reality. Just make sure that you have cleansed your own mindset so that you're in that better reality. You don't want to be stuck back there with the greedy people.
Well, Now, to complement what you have, because it's also included in what I had, they were showing me every year. And this year, when I saw it at the beginning of the year, I was like, oh, this really makes sense to me. And I saw 3 of the archangels, massive, right? And they were supporting like the sky, basically. And all around them, underneath, people were everywhere scrambling, but I saw the earth split and cave open like an earthquake. There were floodwaters coming and running around their legs where they were. There was fire. Wherever the water wasn't, there was fire and wind.
Remember the powwow that we went to together?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had a vision of, I don't know if you remember me calling you and telling you when I was on my way home, but where the United States, it splits right up the middle.
Yep.
And if you look up the Navy Doomsday map, they have that exact map where it splits right, almost right up the middle. And all the coastal areas are gone.
Yeah. Well, what I was shown with it was all these people just scrambling, and some of them were going down in like where the earthquake was or drowning. And there were those of us, and there were people I knew that do what we do and think differently, that were trying to help people. And the angels turned around and looked at us and said, you can't save them all. They've had their choice. They've made their choice. So there was a bunch of us trying to actually put them on boats and buses and try to make the people that knew what was going on to be safe. And then there was all these screaming. Well, and like this year, what have we had? Floods. We've had hurricanes bigger than ever, storms going out, and they're not just here in the U.S., they're around.
Well, I believe some of those have had some engineering help.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm not saying that, like the one down in Hawaii, but we're seeing it even out.
And also, there's been several continents where the gap has already begun.
Yeah. And I believe it, isn't it? In Africa, that's what's happened down in
Africa. And I just saw another one yesterday, but I don't remember where it was.
Yeah, I just, there's a lot going on, and people, you have to get your stuff in order because you have to understand.
Go look at that doomsday map and look at where the safe areas are, and go ahead and move to those areas now. Get out of the areas that are not safe.
I think it's going to be going on till what I was given was like 2028. Like right.
Yeah, it's not going to happen like overnight. It's not going to be one day everything just cracks open.
But people are starting to rise to combat against hate, to combat against corruption, to combat against.
Well, not only combat, but not to feed into it.
Right. But they are combating them, because you even had kids here in the U.S. that took Montana to the Supreme Court, and they won their case because they were doing pipelines and things that they shouldn't have been doing, and it was destroying their future, and that's how they presented it. And so, yeah, I do think there is, but the young people get it. They understand it. But I think it's going to take till, with what I was shown, like into 2028, where they're going to take over a lot of the lawmaking. They're going to take a lot of things that they need to get new blood into. So it's going to be an interesting time. And I'm really glad that I live where I live, in my little lone place.
Right, exactly. We chose to be incarnated in this life for what's, here we go again. To witness and to watch what's happening in this world right now.
Yeah, it's
pretty amazing.
Ruth is the same. Woo, I got it. Woo. Okay, what is this here now?
Did you see my newest project that I'm working on? It's the dumbest idea I've ever had.
Oh, that might be saying a lot.
Okay, maybe not the dumbest idea, because I've had some really dumb ideas, but this is in the same category. Look at this. It's not even halfway done. This is going to take forever. You see?
Oh, yeah.
Freaking dots.
Yep.
Freaking dots.
I don't like dots. They take too long.
Oh my gosh. I was
Last time I did dots, I was in college.
Why did I start this? Why did I do this? Why? What is wrong with me?
I don't know. You want a list? No, just kidding.
Hey. Don't be ugly.
All right. So, yeah.
Spirit is watching you.
All right. So we were talking about all that, but I really did think the alien thing it looks pretty legit. Considering they took it to the government, and like I said, the news station, ABC News, they're not going to publish something like the Inquirer would, So that, to me, that says a lot. And again, I think there's like this push, and people are kind of opening up to the idea of other creatures that are here on Earth.
I don't see how they've had such a close mind that they believe that they're the smartest thing on the planet anyway, or in the universe, because
well, yeah, but I mean, they're finding new stuff. They found new bugs. They found new fish. And like huge fish. They found one fish that I was like, holy crap! It's bigger than a shark, but it lives like thousands of feet down, and it only
super deep
once a day, and then it goes back down. It looks like a huge silver knife with holes. And I was like, wow. So, when you look at, things like UFOs or things like Yeti, why can't they be? Because we haven't explored everything on
exactly.
We're still finding stuff in the rainforest that's left anyway.
That's the thing. Like when people want to argue the about fairies, your best friends, like why could that not exist?
They found the existence of giants.
Right.
They found them.
Right. So why couldn't it exist? I've seen some strange kind of looking animals in my time.
Dragons.
Fairies don't look strange at all compared to some of these things.
Dragons still exist. The Komodo dragon is a descendant of the dragons in the prehistoric time. So, and they're huge. I don't know if you've ever been around them, but
I've not been around them, but I've seen plenty of shows on them. They're massive. I saw one eat a whole freaking alligator, within not even a whole 60 seconds.
They can run like up to 40 miles an hour. So you see this big ass thing coming at you, you're gonna have to move faster than 35 miles an hour.
I'm screwed.
And they're old. So they get to a really old age. That was like, I get so mad when I see what humans do to the creatures of the world.
Oh yeah,
in Mississippi.
I can't even stand it when I see people still to this day just throwing shit out their car windows. Like what is wrong with you?
Toss the cigarettes. That drives me insane.
Oh my gosh! Don't get me started.
This week 2 weekends back, they posted 4 guys in Mississippi went out gator hunting. And I realized that alligators need to be culled because they produce so many and they're taking over certain areas. And, a lot of times these people will call into the DNR or they'll call one of the people in the state that actually does hunt them legitly. And because they're eating pets or they're so used to humans, they're not scared and they're worried for the children, right? Or actually the people themselves. So I understand that, right? Well, these guys down in Mississippi, they were just so proud of themselves. If I had been there, I would have smacked each of them behind the head. They took out the biggest alligator that has ever been taken out by itself, out in the wild, right? The thing was 15 feet long and over 880 pounds. It took them 6 hours to get him and kill him and then to pull him into their boat, right? They were legally hunting, and I get that, all right? My thing was, this alligator was probably over 100 years old. Yes, he was a massive bull. But take out the ones that are causing the problems.
Right.
Not this one. He earned it. I was so mad because I thought, what a shame. and they should be ashamed of what they did. And everybody's like, "Oh yeah, it's the biggest gator ever caught." I'm like, "So your point
that was a
is,
trophy. They did it for the trophy.
and it was out in the swamps. It wasn't near homes. It was out in the damn swamps." So people need to get their
There's
stuff
a TV.
together.
There's a whole TV show about the swamp people and the gator hunters.
I watch it.
Yeah,
I watch it every season. Mr. Troy is really well known down in Louisiana, and that's what they do. And yeah, they want the big bulls down there. But I guarantee you, if they saw this guy,
they're also, those guys are actually they're selling the meat and they're eating it, and they live off of that.
Not these guys. I was just mad.
Yep, they did it for the trophy.
Yep. So let me get back to this. Now here, I want you to take a look at this. This creature, this is a drawing, obviously, right, of the Bray Road beast. Okay, and it's kind of like a skinwalker would be described. It's kind of like, here's actually a photograph somebody took, and the thing that's circled is it was actually a credible site that was seen. And they're up in Bray Road's up in Wisconsin, and they've seen this creature, but they've also seen this creature coming down into Michigan, and we actually have sightings of something similar or that's described in the same way in the forest, in the Huron Forest here by me. So I can get to the Huron Forest like in 15 minutes, and it's massive. It goes all the way up to the top of the, like up on the top and the west coast.
So why do you think it suddenly come out? Well, it's no surprise that we're going to see more pictures, more captures of these kinds of things, because everybody has cameras. Everybody's putting the security cameras around their properties, and more people are preparing to protect their properties.
I don't think, well, this has been around since the 1800s, okay, in Michigan, because I tracked it, because where I live, it's a historical town, and they have a lot of history here. As a matter of fact, my ex-husband used to work with one of the guys. He was actually a photographer. He's passed now, but he did so much history on what was here in this town before, because it was a lumber town. But you can trace this thing, whatever it is, and maybe it's a Bigfoot, I don't know, but it appears the same way, and people have had these stories. And I think what's going on now is because people are a little more accepting of them than when maybe some of these people saw them. Even state police, DNR officers, families where the story was passed down. I think they're a little braver now to come out and say, because people aren't going to say, "Oh, he's nuts, put him in a room," So I think that's kind of why.
Yeah.
And I think the interest really got sparked during the pandemic, because we were all locked up and nobody really had a lot of stuff to do. So they started like, "Oh, what's the history on this? Oh, what's the history on that?" Right? So I don't know. I believe there is something here. I had a friend of mine who was in the DNR, and they actually sectioned it off a section of Huron Forest because the burial grounds were there. The Native American burial grounds were there, and they didn't want people going into them, so they literally fenced it off. But he said while they were doing that, they thought it was a wolf, and we just probably in the past 6 years have gotten wolves back to this section of Michigan. But they weren't in that time, because it was like in the 80s. And he said he saw something like this, and he didn't really want to go out there by himself. So
can't blame him.
But what do you think? Do you think they're all linked or what?
I feel like a lot of this is just different species that have come for many different reasons. You know what I mean? And some of them are probably mutations.
Yeah, that would be a possibility. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you don't know what other species from other places have come here and that you never even saw, and you don't know what they bred with.
Well, that was somebody else asked me the other day was, do you think they have families? I'm like, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they have males and females and have young,
Right,
young
right,
whatever?
right.
They're like
Because
any
how
other.
what would the life expectancy be of these kinds of creatures? And they're pretty smart to stay in hiding as well. Not everybody sees them. They're not super common to just see you walking down the road.
I still think,
So they're freaking smart.
yeah, I think they're smarter than people. But I do
Raylene
think,
is late as always, lady. Better late than never, right?
but I think like with the Sasquatch and this wolf too, they actually the show that is finally back on, and Lindsay and I were kind of excited about it because she hadn't watched it up until recently, and she's like, why couldn't there be? Like, there's parts in Alaska and upper in Washington State, I wouldn't go.
Oh, heck no.
Can't, I
Heck
mean,
no.
it's like
I believe a lot of these
so-
creatures, especially like the Bigfoot, I believe they have cloaking abilities.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, when you have a whole village of Native Americans that up and left property that they bought because what they call it knock to knock, which is Bigfoot, you know, he's known by different names, that they had actually had people killed in their village, not eaten, just tore apart. And what I just saw again this year from the exploration, it's a scientific team. And actually, the woman that's the biologist, she knows Jane Goodall, and she's a primate specialist, and she teaches at one of the big schools out in Boston, I think. She's really intelligent with the stuff. And they're out there looking, and they find these massive trees that, I mean, massive trees, like would probably take 10 humans to hold hands to get around it, that are pulled up out of the ground and then replanted, so the roots are all at the top. And what they found last week, or not last week, but the show on that episode, was they were in a triangle position. Like there was 1 mile here, 1 mile here, and 1 mile there. So it's like almost like a territory knocking off of. And I'm like, why can't? And that's what I told the person I got
That's
hold of.
kind of like wolf behavior. Because remember when I went down to the Seacrest Wolf Preserve?
Yep, yep.
And what they do, you actually go in where the wolves are. The wolves are, you can touch them. I wouldn't be reaching your hand out because they're still wild animals.
Yep, yep.
But what they do, as soon as you go into their enclosures, they spread out and encircle you.
Yep. I took the wolf there. She was in heaven. I said, don't put your hands out, sit your butt on the ground. And that's what you have to do. You have to show them respect.
Yeah.
And they are wild. They are wild wolves.
Yeah.
And it was I have pictures of her. Like, they let me be. They came over, they checked me out, they smelled me. I wasn't a threat, so they left me. And I wasn't sitting on the ground because I'd never get up. She sat down on the ground, and they surrounded her and were kissing her and playing with her. They put their paw, and they're massive, and put their paws up on her, and she was laughing, and she lay down on the ground. They were laying on not trying to harm her at all, but that's because she had that connection and she understood them. They weren't hurting me either, but I wasn't like wanting to stick my hands by them because they're bigger than me. So, but we have to have that respect. And I think so many people they just don't respect. They just don't.
It was a wonderful place. I loved being there. I'll go again. And it's, I understand why they don't allow kids under the age of 10 to go in there, but I have to wait till the boys get old enough so they can go.
We had, when Taylor was growing up, across the street from where my mom and dad lived, there was a huge farmhouse. And it had actually been a farmhouse like late 1800s, early 1900s. And they rolled it from wherever it was to the street. So it was a massive old farmhouse, beautiful. It had old cellar. It was crazy. It's just a cool house. Well, when the owners had passed and then the grandson took over the house, then he decided he didn't want any more of it. And he's like my age now. But they rented it out to a bunch of college kids, right? So one of these guys went and he got a puppy. And he brought it home. And I'm like looking at this thing. And it was
probably about 8, 9 weeks. He goes, yeah, look, I got a husky. I said, that's not a husky. And he said, yeah, it is. I go, no, that's not a husky. I don't know where the heck you got him, but that's a wolf or a wolf hybrid. And I said, you're going to have nothing but problems. You should not have this dog or this wolf, because what it's a bunch of college kids partying, beer, bombs, the whole 9 yards, because it was a massive house. That dog on all fours, the wolf, it wasn't a dog. I shouldn't call it a dog. Its back was higher than a 6-foot metal fence.
That's huge. That's massive.
Taylor was a baby. And we knew they called the dog, of course, Miko, because that was a time of like Pocahontas came out. And she wanted to go and see him. And I said, well, walk across. I'll hold you, but you can't. We're not going to get close enough. You can't pet this.
Right.
Pet him. So she was probably about 3. And we walked across and she had her boy doll, right? And I gave her to her dad. And her dad was standing there. He got just a little bit too close. And she had the boy doll. Right, and she's just like holding it like this, but it's kind of out from him. That dang thing stood up on its hind legs. It had to be between 7.5 feet on its hind legs. Leaned very carefully over and took her boy doll.
Yep.
Then he got down and walked away.
Yeah, well, smart thing.
I told my ex, I says, "Well, good for you. Now you're going to have to go get it."
No, I don't think anybody's taking that from the wolf.
Taylor was screaming because that was her boy doll, right? Because she's still. Yeah. I had to go and knock on the door, and it was like in the afternoon, but they're all sleeping, because that's what they do. And I said, you need to get this thing in the house, and I need to have that doll back, and you better do it now. So they let him in the house, and apparently all the kids that were in the house, and they're in their 20s, right? Early 20s. None of them except one guy, that wolf would let them buy it, would let them buy it. None of the other, they were all scared of him. I'm like, why would you have an animal that you're scared of? I told you that in the beginning. They had to pull out and cut up, this was the craziest thing, a watermelon, because apparently this wolf liked watermelon.
That's crazy.
So they had to lock him out. He couldn't come in the house. They had like a sunroom, so he was locked in there, and he was getting all worked up because he wanted the watermelon. And so the kid that owned him opened the door, put a big bowl, a full-size watermelon in there. He dropped the doll and went to eat the watermelon. The kid had to slowly walk behind it to be able to quietly reach down and get the doll. That's the only way you got it. So you have to respect them, and they're not. And that's the other thing that drives me nuts. They're wild animals are just wild. Even like raccoons, right?
Yeah.
I've known so many people that, aren't they cute? They're babies. They're not.
A raccoon will tear you up.
Oh.
Rellyn asked where it was. The Seacrest Wolf Preserve is in Florida, just above Destin, Florida. They're open all year long.
Oh, your Beth Joyce. What did she say? Yeah, they are. Never look. Yep, that's right. Yep. I have a friend of ours from the Wolf and the Bear days. He's a Native American flutist, and he raises wolves, like purebred wolves, but he owns like 100 acres up in the UP. So they're free to roam, and they treat him and his wife fine because they're part of the pack. But I wouldn't go.
We had to recently take out a raccoon because it had been getting into our chicken coop and taking our chickens. And once they get a taste for it, and they know they won't leave you alone, so we had to get a trap and take care of it.
I've tried trapping them before, and I'd trap them. And when I was at my other house that was on the creek, we'd have them come in. They try to get the ducks and kill the ducks and get in there, dig, crawl in, pull the fence apart, and they get the eggs and stuff like that. And I would usually
they took the whole chicken. They left nothing behind.
Oh yeah, they took a duck. We also have bobcat that came in too. They got our goose, but I would trap them, and then I put them in my pickup, and I drive out in the middle of the Huron forest and let them go. And I swear to God, some of them made their way back. I
watched something the other day, and it was somebody that was having problems with raccoons. And the first one he let go, he took it 3 miles past where he lived, and it come back.
Mhm.
So then he tracked it again, and he took it 10 miles. That's more than double. Surely it's not going to, it found its way back. So he drove the next time he caught it. I don't know, it was a long way. I think he drove like 100 miles or something. And,
Well, I had a mom, and she had 4 babies one summer, and it was into the fall, and they kept coming to get in my ducks. And the duck house was right near my room on the house, so I was literally able to hear and see what was going on. And then one night she came in, I was like, you gotta stop this, and she came charging at me, like screaming, yelling, like, kind of a thing. That was it. I had 5 kids in that house, and my mom, like, oh no, you're coming at me. No. Told them go get my 22, and that was it. And I felt bad, but this thing was crazy. And her babies were all big enough that they could take care of themselves, and I never had a problem with again. But yeah, sometimes you do have to take care of it like that. But wild animals are wild animals for a reason.
yeah. Karen is asking, can you tell me what this means? I was talking to a friend on video chat. She saw a wolf and an owl fighting. It was above her head. Well, I would say that ask you, how does the wolf relate to you, and how do the owl relate to you? Those different aspects of each animal, those are 2 different aspects of you that are fighting against each other.
Yep, that would be
whatever it means to you. It can mean anything to anybody, but it's going to be specific to what the wolf represents for you and what the owl represents.
Owls have actually been showing up quite a lot with people, because I've also been getting that. And actually, when Lindsay was here this morning telling me all her stuff, she said, I had a dream last night. I said, yeah. And she said she had the great horned owl, which is the biggest one. She had the white owl, which was like a snow barn owl in the middle. And then she had a tiny, they're little screech owls. They're kind of brown. And
yeah.
And she says they were all sitting there. And I says, okay, so I carry owl medicine because I picked them up from the time I was 14. Like, I'd be camping. There'd be some that were smucked on the side of the road by cars, and they were still alive. So I'd pick them up. And I mean, over the years, and I really didn't think about that till recently, actually, like, wow, I never really thought about that. I've had owls all my life, right? And I've actually touched them, and they're big, and it's significant, and it's depending, like, within the cultures, how you view them.
Right.
Like, some Native American cultures think they're a sign of death, which that's not what I believe, but they're scared of them, and they're scared of people that carry that medicine.
Yeah.
Or that,
because they believe that the owl will call out their name, and if that owl calls out their name, then they're going to die, like, very soon. So they don't want anything to do with owls because it is a reminder of death for them.
Yeah, well, and to that note, when my mom passed, I was with her, and I actually did a painting of it, and she knew I was there. We told each other we loved her. I said, Mom, if you want to go, right? She was 88. And when she left, the whole room just kind of like lit up with real pale pink and purple and kind of like sparkly things. And a white owl came in. And I'll never forget that. And I was like, wow. So that white owl came in to guide her soul to where it needed to go. And I'll never forget that. So yeah, they are connected with death sometimes, but not in the way people would fear them, at least for me. So what is she asking me now, Raylan? Yeah, no. I didn't have anybody open the cupboards the next day. I think whoever it was here.
Her fairy friends are going to start coming to visit her more often now. You're on air. You can't say it. You can't say what you want to say to me right now. You're on air. Boo boo.
Hey, yeah, well, you know what? You know who's coming to my house this weekend?
Who?
Windwalker.
Look, leave me out of it.
She's coming up, 4th generation, medicine woman in her family, and she's coming actually to visit
client of mine.
Unless it's blessings coming my way, leave me out of it. Good blessings, good energy. I'm going to block out all that negative stuff.
I'll have a little chat with her because that's where the
My
skinwalkers
fairies
came
will
up.
protect me. They got my back.
Well, I told her I don't drive anymore. And I said, there's really no way I can get downstate. And so my client, who I had hooked up with her, because I told her there's nothing more I can teach you. You need to talk to one of these people. And she actually spent a couple weeks down with Windwalker. And so she got hold and she's just coming up and we're going up to see Bear. And I said, okay, okay, So I called Taylor because Taylor's supposed to be coming up this weekend. And I said, just so you know, Windwalker's coming up. She goes, oh, that's cool, Mom. And I said, yeah, I don't know if they're going to stay overnight. I says, but we're going to have to stack them high because my house is small. You haven't, Ruth has. It's just a 2-bedroom. I mean, when the kids come up and they bring their other kids, they have air mattresses all over. But it'll be cool because Windwalker does healing for water, and I live on water. So it'll be very, very interesting.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of dragonflies.
Yeah. Oh, actually, no. No.
There will be. There will be. Wait for it.
Okay. I will. I'll take pictures of them if they are.
Yep.
It's actually it went down again to 42 last night.
Oh.
And right now it's only 60 degrees right now. So we're like.
Whatever. It's still hot in Tennessee. Super hot. Let's see what our temperature. I think today is a little bit more mild today.
Yeah.
It's still hot.
Yeah.
80. So it's mild today.
I had 2 days, maybe a month since summer started that I've even had 80 weather.
Whatever. We've had a lot of the 100 days.
I know. I kind of felt bad. Not a whole lot, but I did feel bad for
you. You don't feel bad. You do not.
We've had some weird storms too, where it's just thunder and lightning and didn't rain.
Don't listen to Bear's nonsense. She lies all the time. She did not feel bad at all. She's just saying that for karma's sake. She doesn't want to get struck down by the fairies.
Yeah, well, you need to be careful with those words.
It's so warm here, and the humidity is still really high. It's just like,
well, we've got
ragweed on top of that blooming like crazy.
Oh yeah, I didn't have much of that here either, thankfully.
Karen, listen, I don't need to hear your 64 degrees in Michigan. All right.
Oh,
it's
Karen,
hot here. I go outside and I'm sweating, okay?
Karen, it's right. It's like
it's
cooler today.
Here in Michigan.
Yeah,
it's
I'm in East Dallas.
cool.
So yeah, I don't know. Where are you at, Karen?
Y'all are mean, hateful northern people.
My trees, the grass in the lake are already.
The 60 degrees, that's my ideal temperature. That's what, I'm a fall baby, so I like the cooler weather. I hate when it is freaking 100 degrees because, one, we have bugs here that don't stop. Do not. So you can't go outside and you just can't. You just don't.
Oh, God, you're down in Dearborn Heights? Oh, that's cool. That's where the wolf used to live down there. She's passed now, but yeah, her kids still.
Really, you just keep laughing it up, lady. You just keep laughing.
All right. With a new moon coming in on Friday.
Mercury going direct, yes.
Okay, give everybody give them ideas of what they need to do to prepare, to have that start off right.
Okay. So Friday we have a new moon. What is that sign? What's the new moon in? Hold on, 2 seconds. Hold on, I forgot. I want to say it's Virgo, but I might be confused. I can't remember.
Oh, gee, you confused? Cindy Bingham's asking how we met the first time. Wasn't it through Kim?
I don't even know.
I don't remember.
Aries. Oh, no, that's going to be the full moon. The new moon is in Virgo. I was correct. Okay. So we have Mercury going direct, the new moon in Virgo. It's time to set your intentions and Mercury going direct releases us and lets us move forward, where lately we've had all kinds of hiccups, all kinds of little glitches, kind of things that just speed bumps, just annoying speed bumps. So the speed bumps are going to be cleared out of the way. So right now, think over the next couple of days, what do you want to achieve? Where do you want to set your goals? What kind of intentions do you want to send out? And remember balance, because you don't want to, well, I say this and everybody's like, yeah, I do. You don't want to just win a lot of money or something like that. But yeah, we do want to win a lot of money. But there needs to be balance when that comes in. When the money comes in, you got to have balance in your life. Otherwise, that money's going to come in and it's going to go right back out. You're not going to be able to maintain it and hold on to it. It's just going to leave as quickly as it came in. Yep. You don't want just a relationship. You want a long-lasting, loving, balanced relationship. Think about it before you put it on paper, before you set those intentions. Think about,
be very
to bring balance.
Be very, very specific. Because if you miss something, and it will come back, and I've had this happen. I've learned that lesson a few times. You need to be extremely specific.
Specific, yeah. And think more about, instead of I need a man or a woman that looks like this and does this and does that, think about how you want that relationship to work instead. How do you want that relationship to feel? How do you want that job to work? How do you want that job to make you feel? You want balance in your life. So make sure that whatever you're setting your intentions, you keep that in mind and write those in that kind of way. Because once Mercury goes direct, I've got goosebumps again. Holy crap.
My kids are yelling.
There's some things that are going to come into your life that you've been working for a long time, but you would not imagine that suddenly they're going to be in your life. Mark, oh my God. Can you even see that?
Yep, I see it, yep.
It's like a chicken skin, you know.
What? Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're chicken.
Why did the chicken cross the road?
To get to the other side.
No.
So yeah, Cindy, we've known each other for quite a while, and we actually did a radio show on BTR for a number of years, and we went to a powwow, we met each other, and yeah,
I don't even know how we first met.
I think it was, I want to say Kim Harrell when I first
maybe, possibly, probably.
I don't know. You know what she's doing down now? She's down in Florida. She's actually a pastor.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, it was like, wow, okay, yeah. I can't really be sure. I think that's how we met, but I'm not positive.
I feel like that probably is. It was so long ago.
Then Christy came into it.
Yeah.
And Christy Sargent, and I knew her before I knew you. I knew her on MySpace.
Oh.
So you want to know how old I am?
MySpace
started, and I was on MySpace. We had
Kim is a mutual friend of ours. She was based here in Nashville. She had a metaphysical store here, and that I went to all the time. And I don't know how we linked up through her. I don't know.
But we had Napster. You remember Napster?
Oh, I remember Napster.
If you tried to download music the wrong way,
sit and have downloads for days and days and days.
Yeah. And we had, what else do we have? Well, the phones. Cord phones, and then we actually.
Well, then you're not going to get what you think you're going to get, or what you think you want, because that ain't it.
See, that's another thing too.
You think you want something until you get it, then you realize, oh no, never mind. Take it back.
Well, you ask for things with the highest good, the highest of like good things and balanced things. I seriously, I don't think I'd put anything out super specific, because if you put it out, like I was telling you with Lindsay, we did this big cleansing with her, and she's got stuff. I mean, she sat here this morning in shock, and she was showing me all these emails of these people, prominent people. And she says, I don't know how this happened. I said, because that's what you wanted to happen. You have to have confidence in yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You have to understand you are worthy. You are good enough. And when you do.
There's nothing lacking from you.
Right. And that's, Raylan, I would say that's what I would do. I wouldn't get very specific. I'd just ask for good things.
But you have to be ready to let go of what you thought you wanted.
Well, not only that, clear it out. If you clear it out and make room, because a lot of times, and I'm going to tell you, Raylan, because this is what I'm hearing right now, you're holding on to stuff and you're dragging it forward with you. And because you're dragging it forward with you, you're not able to have these new opportunities.
Listen to her. Listen to her. I've been telling her for years. She don't listen to me.
But you got to let it go.
She's as hard-headed as Ruth.
Ruth's coming around, though.
Slowly.
Oh, yeah. So, Raylan, that's what you got to do. Even if you've been waiting for it, let it go.
Let it go. Release it completely.
Yeah, and just, I told somebody this the other day, and I don't usually say this, but let it go and let God. Let God, Creator, take care of it. Let the universe take care of it. Let it go. And if it's meant to be where you're at, you will have it come into your life. I've had so many things like that. One of my biggest things was, and I know you remember, when I went to Chicago with all my artwork, I had a show, and I didn't have the money. It was going to cost me like $3,000 to get there. And I made the reservations. I got accepted.
And it just happened. It just happened.
I walked out the day before I was ready to leave, trying to figure out how was I going to live in my truck, or how this was going to happen. A check came, and it was the wildest thing, because my father died in 1993, 7 months prior to my daughter being born. There was a check from Chrysler, from his stocks. Took all those years, like 20 some years. Yeah, 20 some years.
Raylan is trying to say one thing, but she that what's going on is something else. She's trying to convince us that she's let go.
But I let it go, because I just said, I can't worry about it. If I'm supposed to go, it'll work out. And it did. And I had to let
go of thinking that you were trapped, thinking that you couldn't. So once you believed you could and just started making those arrangements, everything got out of your way.
No, that's not flowers. This is
it's your totem mug.
Yep, my totem mug. I actually had a bunch of these made up, and I'm actually in the process of putting another one together. But yeah, they're all my totems. I have different totems on them. Oh, and I actually have a surprise that's going to be coming to you next month. So, ha.
I can't wait. I'm excited.
What did Karen? Yeah, I think you'll like it. Had something happen today that I don't believe they are right, and it's upsetting to me to think that, or they think that. Okay, well, I'll tell you this. Like Holly says all the time. Here, she's on the other side, right? Holly says all the other time. Bye, Felicia.
That's right.
See ya.
You do not have to accept the invitation. You don't have to accept anything that doesn't resonate as truth for you. Somebody else's truth is their truth and their truth alone. It does not have to also be your truth.
And you don't have to put up with it. You don't have to accept it.
There's the freaking door.
Bad about it. If they think a certain way, tough crap for them.
Don't let the door hit you in the rear end on your way out. Bye.
Bye. And that's the truth of it. A lot of times we hold stuff, and a lot of times I think we hold it because we feel guilty that if we let them go or we don't interact. And what it is you're basing your self-worth on what these people are saying. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Right. Just live in your truth. And I was just thinking the other day, because I was talking to Stacy yesterday about where she is in her life and talking about age. I said, because she's about to be 33.
Oh.
Right. I said, well, when you turn 40, there's going to be a whole lot less stuff that you're going to be worrying about. And when you turn 50, there's even less things that you worry about. It is something that definitely comes with age, because at 50, there's just a whole set of things, of rules and crap and stuff that you're like, don't care.
Wait till you hit 60. I'm going to be 63 in January. Wait till you hit 60. Then you really won't give a shit. So, Yeah,
The
there
older you
go.
get, the less you care about certain things. You definitely don't care about drama. You will shut
Well,
the door on drama all day long.
okay, I'm gonna give you this one. Okay. Well, it's a medical issue and they think I don't have a problem. Okay, so all my life, since I was 13 years old, I have had knee issues. Like, I'm not just saying like bumping your knee, I mean bad. I started having surgeries when I was 13. When I was 17, I broke my lower spine. I've had back problems ever since. I am now 63 years old. There are people that would look at me because they'd say, "Oh, you don't have a problem. You don't look sick." It's like, nope, you don't have a problem. You don't even look like you're in pain. I don't care. I reached a point in 2019. I said to Creator God, okay, I'm going in for the surgery. We're going to do it. I don't care if I'm here or I'm not, because I was in so much physical pain. There was only a small cluster of people that knew it and only a small cluster of people that believed it. I went in. I tried to exit 3 times. They brought me back. I was here. So Creator had more stuff for me to do, right? And
Loads more for you to do.
all of a sudden I said, I don't give a shit. You don't believe I have it? Not my problem. I know what I have to live with. And honestly, I don't need to live with your judgment. So again, like Holly says, see the door, Felicia? Bye. Don't let it hit you on the way out. So Karen, let it go. And you take care of you. And if that's the way people think about you, they don't deserve to be in your life. So why
No,
would you keep
they
them?
don't.
Why would you
And
keep
that's
them?
another thing that comes with as you get older. Like, you don't try to force people to be in your life. It's
Right.
like, hey, either you want to be in it or you don't. Make up your mind, and there's the door.
I'm going to give Raylan. Oh, no, wrong one. They moved. Oh, yeah, here's Raylan. She said, yeah, menopause. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to laugh because I had all those issues. And then when I was in my mid 40s, I got a doctor that was from California that actually moved to this little town. He was so smart, and I didn't go through menopause.
You suck. You suck. I've been going through it for years now, but I found something that's been helping. Wild yam cream. Barbara O'Neill talks about it, so I went and got some. Let me tell you, it helps. So any of you ladies that may still be going through it, go get you some.
That's an old native remedy. Oh, absolutely, it is. I've heard that for years.
It's amazing. It works great. If you haven't got any and you need it, go get it.
Yeah.
Wild yam cream. Fantastic.
59, you know what? I mean, I will tell you this, Karen and Joyce and Holly knows. We all have bad days. Holly does, I do.
A bad day? What do you mean?
Yeah, I save up energy for when I do this kind of stuff. But there's days, and I will tell you this, I had Saturday, this past Saturday was one of those days. I got up in the morning, my back was so bad and my knees were so swelled up. I said, that's it. I'm not doing anything today. And all I did was lay on my bed. I got up to get some water, something to drink. I really didn't even eat Saturday. You know, I'd go to bed. I didn't even shower that day. I just stay in bed. And the toddler.
Don't let them put synthetic hormones in you anyway. Don't do that. Don't go the synthetic route. But yeah, you got to learn how to treat yourself well. How to, just like if your child is sick, you care for that child, but you don't care for yourself when you're not feeling well. So you have to do like Bear has done, and she's figured out that, well, when I'm not well these days, I have to take care of myself.
Yep.
If that means laying in bed all day, then that means laying in bed all day.
Yep. And Karen, I understand that situation too. And medical people, you always go for second opinion.
And even third, if you need to.
I actually, when I was in my 20s, I had a spine doctor tell me that all my pain and nerve pain that I was having, I was full of it. And I was like, okay, all right, so you can't help me. And he's like, there's nothing to do with you. And I went to a doctor that had been in the Mayo Clinic that came to the Detroit area when I lived in Detroit. And he goes, oh my God, how are you even functioning? And he actually was a spinal specialist, but he worked with a chiropractor. They worked together with me. And then the chiropractor got to a point where he said, I can't do any more because it would harm it. But he was working with the ortho. That's the only way I got any kind of relief. So doctors aren't gods. They can be wrong. And you shouldn't
they can
allow
definitely
that.
be wrong. And some of them are just out. They want to do the surgery because they want the money. So you
Oh,
got to
yeah.
be very careful about who you choose. Get second and third opinions.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. They're not gods. I worked with them. I worked at the DMC, Detroit Medical Center. Huge. There's like 5 hospitals down there. And I can tell you, every one of them thinks they're God's gifts to people on earth, right? Until they get a slice of humble pie. And that's what they go down there for, because they're learning, right? We were a teaching property. Like the whole DMC was a teaching property. And there were many of them that had such big egos, but I'll tell you, they all got smacked. So they all don't have the answers, and they're not all God. Like
That's like when Stacy did the castor oil and dissolved all those. She had cysts, she had a mass, and she had tumors. She had all 3. And the surgeon said, when she told him what she did, he said, "Oh, well, they just erupted." No. Well, how does a mass erupt? It's a mass.
Yeah,
that's not going to erupt.
Busted. Yeah, if it had busted, she would have been in the ER.
Right, and she wasn't. She was way better. So he didn't want that to be true because that that ruins his business. Ruins his business.
Hi, Prash. So she has pain and nerves in the bone. Okay, so I'm going to tell you right off, if you've got sciatica, which is pain down your legs, I had that and just nerve pain because my spine was screwed up so bad that after I had the surgery, it's better than it was now. It's not as bad as it used to be, but I still have it. And what I take, because they had me on gabapentin, which was horrid. I lost half my hair that still isn't all grown back in yet. It did all kinds of crap to me. I don't like it. I didn't want to take it. I went into a walk-in clinic. Now, this is things happen for reasons, right? I went into a walk-in clinic up here because I had developed something from COVID when I had COVID, and I needed to check to see if there's something. I had vasculitis, so I had all these little blood things bursting on all my legs all the way up. And so she went and she goes, yeah, this is from COVID. She helped me with that. And then she said, what are you taking? And she goes, you're taking gabapentin. What are you taking it for? And I told her, because of my spine and my leg and my nerve pain. And I'm telling you right now, amitriptyline, which is a very old drug, and they actually used it for depression. That's like the main reason they use it. No side effects, very, very minimal side effects, just tiny little pills. I take 2 a day. That's it. 1 in the morning, 1 before I go to bed. My nerve pain has been cut by 3/4.
That's amazing.
And I'm telling you, this doctor's the one that told me. She says, I had a friend of mine whose husband was in a really bad accident. He lost the whole calf of his leg on one side in a car accident. And she said, so I did all this research and I found this. She says, you need to have them write this for you and try it. So I took it to my ortho who had done the back surgeries. And I said, here. And he goes, oh, let me research it. And I said, okay. He called me the next day. He says, there's an order for you at the pharmacy. Grab it. Let's see if it works. I've been on it 3 years now. I can't tell you how it has changed my life. So It's called amitriptyline. So ask them, Karen, because even your primary care, ask them and tell them to look it up because it's very, like I said, it doesn't make you high. It doesn't make you hallucinate. It's not a narcotic. It's just a tiny little pill. And I'm telling you, it's amazing. And if I wouldn't have had that, I don't know that I would have wanted to be. It was bad.
No, you were in a lot of pain prior.
Well, 2019, when Boone died in February, I was on the floor with him. I could not get up. He died in my arms. I had to call. It was in the middle of the worst snowstorm. I mean, we had like 4 feet of snow out here. And I called my friend who's like my sister down on Grand Rapids side. It took her 5 hours to drive up to me through the snowstorm.
And we called 911. They came in, they go, we can't do anything. You got to get up. You got to get dressed. And I was like, get the F out of my house. And they were idiots. And so Lynn got me out. Like, we managed to get up. It took like a half hour to even stand. And she dragged me to her car and took me to the ER. I did not want to be here anymore. I was so over that pain. So Karen, I understand it 100%, but there are alternatives because there are different doctors. You just haven't found the right one.
Yeah.
Just haven't found the right one.
Keep looking.
Yeah, no, Lyrica, he tried to get me on Lyrica too, and I won't take Lyrica. No, I want too many side effects. And I'm telling you, amitriptyline will work. It's cheap. That's another thing. It's really inexpensive and it's affordable. I think it costs me about $1.10 every month.
Oh, wow.
So it's cheap. It's cheap.
That's awesome.
All right, guys. We've gone over and we've had fun today, and I'm glad you guys were all here today. And I'm gonna have fun this weekend. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm having fun. Howdy.
Whatever. I don't know what I'm doing this weekend. My week has been weird. Has just been crazy. Has been off kilter. And I'm looking forward.
You'll be making dots on a canvas for the next 5 weekends.
Oh my gosh. I haven't even touched it today. All week it's been, I will dot a little bit and then I stop. And then I'll go back and dot, and then I'll stop. Dot, and then stop. It's annoying. I don't know why you let me start that project.
Have fun with that. All right, y'all. Thanks for coming on today, and I hope we entertained you. I think that's a good thing. We're entertaining everybody. So
yeah, that's right.
All right, guys. Till next week. See you later.
Later.